welcome back after a brief commercial break. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. As you've probably heard in the last video, I recorded these all being live coded and I did not have my microphone on. So we're just going to go through this pretty quick. These next couple of videos are just going to be quick, explaining some of the code. I'm not going to hit every item kind of like I would if I'm actually going through the process of writing this. So without further ado, we'll jump in on the EV charger charging, not charging toggle here. It's pretty nice. Kind of a nice thing to have on this dashboard I'm creating for myself. This is just a fun UI, nothing crazy. Just something to keep me in check. So, and I apologize, this is Sunday morning, me trying to explain all of this without enough caffeine. So, without further ado, let's jump in here with HTML. This HTML script is pretty short. It's not as short as a JavaScript one, but if I jump in here, it'll be easier to explain the rest of these parts. So, as per usual, I usually title my charger. This is not the title that is shown. This is just a reference for me and to figure out which charger is which. For this specific fleet diagnostic and analysis tool, I will change this to whatever the toggle, whichever toggle is being referenced. So you'll see in one of the next videos, I have 3 different boxes with 3 different cars. So I would label to each car, I'll be like, you know, Wrangler EV charger, Model X EV charger. So that is what this is referenced to. This is the text that would be changed. I want to be very clear because I do put these in my in my files. And I know you could easily just keep it at 1, but it's just easier for me to organize this way. So we're referencing the style sheet of style CSS. Again, you can choose to name whatever name you want for your CSS file. If you're using CodePen like I do when I'm trying to visualize stuff and just play around with things, they don't actually, I don't think, let you name the files, or I've never named the files here. But when you kind of get into more, you know, adult or advanced things like using vscode to actually write your stuff, it is really important to reference the style sheet name that you've assigned to the specific sheet. So this is in reference to this, with using also a reference to Google's API for pop-ins. That is the font I really like right now. It's bound to change because I took typography and now I'm spoiled rotten about font. So that is this section here. So then we're going to go into this container and box. This is the text that you would change. So I would actually, let's for this example, no, don't do that. Take out my name, because a rose by any other name would smell just as sweet, according to William Shakespeare. So this would be the EV charger. And then we're going to go into the toggle. The toggle type is a checkbox. And I want to explain this pretty quick. When you click a toggle, it is effectively a checkbox. You are checking something, right? Like for a checkbox, you have the box, you click it, and it's checked. Same concept here. It's just a different look. We just call it a toggle. It's not like it's anything except, like, it's not, you know, anything special. But that is in reference to the type and the ID. The label for it is toggle. The status that we have here is not charging. That is its predefined status. We can change it to charging, but for my intents and purposes, it is not charging. So we break that down here. We close some of this stuff up and we reference then the JavaScript script that is over here. So I will go and jump into that because this is also a little bit more short form. This is only 12 lines of JavaScript code, and this is what changes the status. So we get the element ID toggle here, right? We get the ID as toggle and then the ID as status. Those are referenced here. So we added an event listener for a change, this function. So if this is checked, we changed it to charging in that font and style color. Otherwise, when it's not checked, it's not charging and the style color is this gray. So for example, this is a green that I chose to try to match. I think it's actually a little different, but no one can actually tell. This is what changes this color and this status. So when we reference that ID here and ID here, this is what makes that change. So you're not writing it in HTML, you're writing it as a JavaScript file. So I'm going to kind of go through this CSS maybe a little faster just because there's a little bit more to this than the rest of it. Not maybe, there is more to this than the rest of this, but as per usual, I like to do a little gradient. You don't have to do this. You can do whatever you want. This is the background. Again, I also flex, center, and center everything. Just because no matter the size, no matter the height, no matter the width, I want everything to stay the same. I want it to be the same corner to corner. And I know you're probably looking at this box. That is this container box situation. For this background, I want it to stay from corner to corner. I don't want it to drift off the rest of the page. I don't want it to do anything else. I don't want to have to deal with that. So we obviously are touching base on both of those things here. For the box background color, I always do white because I want this to be clean, easy, effective. Position is relative with the text. We text align it, and then we also do the width and height of this box. You can do a different size. I chose this because I think it looks better, but you can make it a little smaller, like this, and you can make it taller here. But for me, this is what works for the design I have in mind for all my elements when they're together. So we're now going into the toggle bits. There is, I think, 6 references to toggle styling. So this is our initial toggle styling. We're 50% from the top, 50% from the bottom. Obviously this changes, or 50% from the, whatever. My brain is not doing great. We have our input is a checkbox. We have our label, which is a relative block. We have our label when it's, this is also the label, by the way. And then the label after, which is still that. And then we have it when it's input. So when the label is checked, again, we reference that same green color here. When it's after, you know, or else, if you want to call it that, it goes back to the way it was. The text that we have, font size is 20 pixels, font weight is bold, margin from the bottom is 10 pixels. The status, we also want to make sure that that status is centered. We have this gray color, and we still have that same font weight. So sorry if I just blasted through that. I'm going to try to catch up on all these videos, and hopefully you guys learned a little something. If you didn't learn a little something, wait for a couple videos, and then I'll live code everything again and walk through everything as it's being coded. So if you guys go to the comment section of this video, you'll see the codepen for this, which you're more than welcome to fork and play around with. You can go to my GitHub, which is also in the link below, and you can also, you know, clone it, do whatever you want, play around with it. If you do something really cool, or if you just do something, modify it in whatever way, feel free to tag me or at me, send me a message. If you're stuck on something, feel free to message me. I'm pretty busy, so I might not get to it, but I will try my best. And feel free to share your version of this on social media. Again, all of this is open source. I'm just doing this for fun. And I think it's a really fun way, if you're new to coding, to start implementing things that are a little bit more complex. Not a little bit more complex, but things that you might not be doing in your initial code camp or videos or anything else. And it's a great way to apply a lot of these elements. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.